What and all, this is a scary matchup. Ibid's into Jean. It's scary for Jean, which is why Lucifron is getting creative with the opening. Welcome back to the Hymns Cup for game number 3. We are back on Alopecia, a new map created for the Hymns Cup. Yes, soak it in. Don't let this be your headline. Do something about it today. Maybe a certain product that sponsors these show matches might be able to help you, and they might even have a helpful online process to run you through it all. So, how is Lucifron going to help himself here? Why does he have to spam and rush? This matchup, I feel like, has been quite figured out, and Ibids tend to just kind of roll over Jean with the Dervish play recently. The idea is that you can play Dervish into double Desert Raider, and that counters the first Knights, but it also counters Jean. Jean is all about whittling away at targets to get an edge by killing and getting XP, essentially creating a new resource. You can't do that if no one dies, and that's why the Dervish player has become quite potent against Jean picks. So, instead of dealing with that issue, Lucifron is going to try to slow down the tech up timing of Louis. This is smart because if he wants to go into Desert Raiders, he is going to need additional gold upon tech up. Louis' reaction is going to be going up to 4 villages, so Lucifron is being very hesitant here for good reason. Doesn't want to get pinched and killed on this first spearman, as it would give free access for Louis MT. Second spear is going to arrive. I mean, so far this is looking like pretty decent for Lucy. You could maybe force your opponent to go archers, which they normally don't want to do. And Louis, was that enough gold? I don't think that was. No, he's short. Oh no, he's 16 gold short. Okay, so key thing here for Lucifron, the scout needs to get across soon. He knows about the north side gold, and Louis doesn't. In fact, Louis is punting it to the south side to get the goodies. Bigger mountain clearing vibes? Yeah, and I think that was part of the inspiration when I was like concocting this. I don't know if Kayu's here, because I can't remember what I typed. I think I said I envisioned something between Highview and mountain clearing, but bigger. I like this map. I think this is cool. We've already had one game, and it delivered some very interesting dynamics with flank raiding. And this is already getting quite intriguing, because the sneak out into gold is causing problems for Lucifron. He doesn't know where to look. Yeah, so as a result, Louis MT will get the goodies home. Does he go for the Dervish? And did Lucifron get enough value off this? He scoured the north side gold, even checked it. And luckily for him, Louis is able to smuggle through, and it's actually going to be a growthing. Okay, so I think this is good for Lucifron. Compared to where he was going to be at if it was like a fast timing into Dervish, I think you're a little bit scared. You did sacrifice with what you've done here. Building racks plus 3 spears is not cheap. Do those spears keep value, though, is now the question mark. Probably not. I don't know if you really want to go for like a 1-1-1 type build in this matchup against Ibids. The School Cavalry, at least, is going to be on the way. Have you noticed how like a lot of maps more recently just aren't featuring trade as much? Like almost like trade posts are getting gradually removed. I don't know. I feel like that's a kind of refreshing thing. I think there was a point in development where instinctively every map it just felt like had trade posts to have trade posts. And they didn't need it. Like, I wonder if it'd be intriguing if there was maps that just didn't have deer. Maybe not with the current sheep dispersion. Just because the problem is if you have a map that has loads of berries instead, then it's very obvious what's going to happen. You would just get a lot of Ayabids, Abbasids, Delhi. So spears are going to be able to poke onto the berries a little bit here. Shouldn't be too much damage to be done. It's just too late in the timing. Outpost to secure the north side. Now, hold on a sec. The spearmen are going to come in. They might be capable of getting 1 kill here, especially if the micro isn't on point from Louis. Nicely done. He's just going to rotate around in circles. So, unfortunate for Lucifron that he wasn't there a little bit sooner, actually. Had he been, this would have been kind of doomed for Louis. But the interesting thing is this type of gold vein, the outpost is worth even more, guys. Because the outpost is going to let you know when raids are coming through the stealth forest. Now, Lucifron does see in this area as well, courtesy of the fact that he's been taking the abandoned outposts. And I think this actually shows you the value of Dark Age play. Like, points of interest have changed so much. And for the better, by the way. Because now when you make these type of Dark Age rushes, it's not just, okay, GG, I didn't hit in time. You at least have backup options, things you can do alternatively. which is so, so refreshing. Whereas it used to be, you know, if you whiffed on your rush timing, the best thing you could hope to do is try and build an outpost in a rush and do some damage from essentially the same play. Jean's coming out now. Wait, is this to build an outpost? No, it's just the tech timing. Yep, so he's ready to rock and roll. Range Jean is going to be, because he wants to snipe down these villages. That is going to be slam dunk number 1. Oh, this is so vexing. Because it's so far away from home, you're eventually going to want to pull back, but if you do, the knight could intercept you. Damn, Lucifron's cooking. And I'd expect nothing else from a Jean pick. Remember, when you look back at Lucifron's history, he has a legacy built on the French Civ. The raiding player by heart, and French were all about that. So it just fits. Desert Raiders are going to try to answer Jean, but need to be careful about that trade out. He is incredibly tanky against just one Desert Raider. You can see he's just poking and prodding. He doesn't have the extra Divine Arrows just yet. But if you keep whittling them down, you'll be able to get easy Divine Arrows and then additional kills on top of that. Every little counts here. Right now, behind by 4. Okay, Desert Raider Horseman arise now. This is where he's going to back up. Does have the Spearman to defend with. And it is going to be Pro Scouts behind this, by the way. So Lucifron actually going for his own greed. Louis is going to punt it blind. The Desert Raider is not exactly what I'd call blind, courtesy of the fact that they have decent vision based on their range. Spearman are not going to have to go for the brace, so they're going to get sacrificed here. He did get the stun on the Horseman to buy time. And we'll get the dunk on the Desert Raider. Yeah, but Jean against one Horseman? Oh, yoy. Keep running those little legs. It should be enough to get home remaining on the health bar, but you're going to be resetting your base for a little bit. And Louis, I think you could probably just stop at 3 or 4 Horsemen here and tech if you want to. But then again, like, why stop there if you can aggro the play from your opponent? Lucifron is now doing his own greed. I believe Louis MT knows about it. The scouts, right? Is there a secondary scout? Okay, no, so he's at least been hiding the scouts elsewhere. But I think he senses it. The timing just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't there be more knights otherwise? Speaking of those knights, looks like the Horseman is going to run him down. I swear, this Chinese kid is just trying to efficiently raid mine and Him's pockets. He's like, yo, if I beat my opponent 5-0, that's pretty good, like, time to money ratio. Okay, so Louis is going to be getting ready for an age up, it seems. Look at the macro. I don't know, like, what does Lucifron really have to show for this now? Deer are getting lamed as well, so you won't get any freebies on the deer shove-in. And, yeah, love this. Just push them into the forest so it's harder to find them. And we're probably looking at... What, do you go Dervish? Yeah, I mean, you just vacuum relics for that type of play. Even if your opponent had a few knights, knights aren't very good at stopping dervishes due to the debuff. But if you look at the comp, Lucifron has nothing. It's going to be advancement. Okay, so he wants the timing attack. I don't know, like, game 1 looked competitive, even if somewhat shaky. G2 and G3 just looks like Lucifron has come in with an idea, and that idea has very quickly been disarmed. And then there's no fallback plan. And that's sometimes the way it plays. Like, when you play for these timings, these all-ins, it can just disintegrate on you straight away, right? Like, the idea is there is no backup because we're all in on this. The question is, like, for this all-in, what was the key objective he had in mind? Because if it was to be attacking, he hasn't been doing that for, like, 2 minutes. I think Lucifron's game strat probably makes more sense without Pro Scouts for the timing he's looking for. Because even though Pro Scouts is cheap for the Jean, it's not. And here's why. The tech might be quite cheap, right? You're only sacrificing 1 knight. But then what you're doing is you are gridlocking your School of Cavalry into scout production instead of knight production. So you either have to add in more stables, or you're missing out on aggressive units. Oosh, that is an aggressive timing. Louis, double kill. Now up to a 5-worker lead. An advancement just a few seconds away. Lucifron, what do you do now? Have you even got time to attack? Because you've been stuck in your base. I mean, this is crazy. I think this is also, once again, like a classic reminder of what Pro Scouts does here. He had no scouts looking at the enemy base to see what was happening. He was just focused on his greed. And I think that cost him dearly. Like, if he at least knew a tech up was coming, he could try to posture aggressively, set up this outpost earlier, and then be in a position to do damage. Instead, what he's going to be doing is running headfirst into Camel Lancer. Reminder, folks, Spearmen aren't the counter to Camel Lancers you think they are. No, because for whatever reason, Camel Lancers don't seem to get stunned by spears. They just plow on into it. Let's see if you can hit the timing. First 3 Lancers are out. Lucifron. He has got the undermesh. It just doesn't seem to be a risk he's willing to take. I think the idea here in his mind is if he can block gold, he can stop the Castle Age problem. The problem is, it feels like the Castle Age has already got the gold it needs. It's 4 Lancers, 3 more in queue, and enough for another 2. And your opponent has crossbows on top of it. So what's doing the damage here? And now a second outpost. He's already got the stone for arrow slits there as well. He's going to be some idle time achieved here, but he needs a big win. In a way that doesn't feel that feasible. We'll be able to snipe 1 or 2 villages. So shrinks the eco lead that Louis has built up slightly. But Jean barely gets away alive there. Needs to be careful. Now due to the crossbows, might be forced to use the Divine Restoration early. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 Camel Lancers go hunting soon. There's going to be an intercept. Jean goes down. Immediate buyback comes through. Needs everything on the front line. Spearmen need to turn and fight. They've got no choice in the matter, but they don't exist anymore. Erased by the Lancers. And Louis, with confidence, now looks for the deer. And oh dear, this is looking bad. Knights are at least going to try to make it less depressing as they ride in for a few worker kills, turn on the crossbows, but that's a full sack of your heavy cav line. And your opponent only has heavy cav left. If Lucifron pulls this off, I'll be impressed. In fairness, I think Louis might be running out of food is the thought process here. He secured the berries on the south side. So that's going to give him an extra 1,600 food. And I think maybe that's what Lucifron's thinking is, okay, I have more food safely. I know he has to come out. If I can keep pressing him on that issue, there is a way. The problem is the press is gone now. Although the army is bigger for Lucifron, if you're not pushing into your opponent, the Lancers are going to feel superior here because of their ability to raid. I think camels are OP. If that was true, why aren't Abbasis and Iabids the 2 best rated civs in the game? I haven't seen someone ban Ayu in months. Lucifron getting split here. This is the tricky thing, right? He wants to block food sources, but that's multiple locations. So that means splitting up. And splitting up is actually how a player with less troops, but better quality, wins. I think Lucifron just has to accept the berries for what they are and choose to oppress one side. Now, credit to him, Lucifron has done a good job of finding the resources for an age up. I mean, this actually might not be over. If he can finesse this detail without losing any more economy, I think he's solidly in this game. Because then you get Arbitrary, which will destroy everything Louis is doing. Oh, you're on the Camel Lancers. Running headfirst into a group of spears here. Does finesse a way out. That is a long-range charge to get further away. Okay, so, like, here's the thing. This looked really good for Louis. And Lucifron, the scrappy fight, it looked like he maybe punted the game away. But Louis didn't seem comfortable with pushing far out because of this slow grab of food. So that gap saves Lucifron from death, and he plays it so well the way he done this. Into Guildhall, now putting the onus on Louis MT to end the game now in a position where he's outnumbered, or face the wrath of a better, superior tech timing, and more value for Jean deeper in the game. This is sick, man. I wouldn't have expected this just 3 or 4 minutes ago. So Louis is going to be pivoting into archers with the camel lancers. Arbitrier coming on the other side. So Lucifron for Arbitrier should be king here. But he needs to get the numbers together. There's a critical mass requirement of about, let's say, 15 to 20 here to put up a good fight. And knock at the door from the Lancers. Villagers are going to be pulled to slow that down. And Louis is finally looking for an edge. He's going for relics. So it took a while to get there, but I think he realized the moment the age up happened. Before that, he was worried about an all-in. So he couldn't really rush relics if your opponent is rushing all-in. Vet Spearman upgrade also already there. An interesting switch from Louis now into Horseman. There's not much reason to oblige this concept. I kind of see where he's coming from. Range on, plus you're expecting Arbitrier. But remember, Louis MT does not have solid food income. He has for the moment, but not reliably. We're talking about finite resources here. And Horseman is very difficult, very scrappy to do with finite resources. Lancers with a little bit of annoying dive in, but there are going to be spearmen crossbows to answer, so we'll be cleared up. Lucifron also now targeting relics himself, so far it's a 1-1 split. Lancers are going to come knocking again and lose. No, he didn't repair. Okay, it's too late. That's going to break. Yeah. Likes that Lucifron realized there's no point running over there. It was way too late. So has got a few spearmen coming through, Arbors as well. But heavily outnumbered here. The villagers aren't garrisoning his side right now. Lucifron? Okay, there we go. Gets him inside. He's got a second group on the east side here doing nothing. This is ridiculous. Practically his entire economy is on this screen. Oh my god. So much idle time in the base. Now, he did get a few Camel Lancer kills. Louis arguably loses momentum with those losses. But worth it for what he gains. He's back on the 4 gold. He's secured additional berries. He gets runway. And remember, because Lucifron is switching into Arbitrier, there isn't going to be a rush out of the gate here. Alright, I'm happy, man. I got a big smile on my face. I really was getting an uncomfortable feeling that we were heading towards a 3-0. But Lucifron, now they kind of stalemates. You know, there's still opportunities for Louis, especially towards relics. But I'm keeping eyes on this. This Guildhall is going to allow Lucifron to feel a lot more comfortable about the game not moving with urgency. Even if it means sacrificing majority relics to Louis. Lancers are still going to be fishing again. I think this time... No, okay. He didn't leave any troops back here, but he has repaired the wall. Actually, it looks like he's got a group of spearmen mainly for the base, maybe? Unless this is an all-in timing, in which case Louis' raid actually may be pitched perfectly timed. It's going to be knocking at the door again. Risk of villagers already chopping through themselves. The horsemen do get revealed here. Lucifron does get the level 3, though, and it is going to be champions. Makes sense. No crossbows. No counter. Going to start riding deeper. Upgrade does come in. That's going to force a retreat from Lucifron. Meanwhile, a knock at the door is going to be a knock at Death's Door. 3 of the Lancers go down. Northside is going to ride in, but there's Spearman dancing there as well. Lucifron's doing it. Louis MT has practically lost all Lancers now. Only 5 remain. Military mass favoring Lucifron. And he already was building spears to counter the Lancers, so this Horseman detail is going to remain counted. Remember what we said about Arbitrier. They really are the kings of this. If he starts to feel threatened, he can just go for Gambesons, which is quite a cost-efficient tech at this point in the game, actually. 350 resources to get 5 melee armor. Feels like a jackpot. Looks like Louis. Did he hit the tree line again? He must have done. Maybe on the gold as well, that he got a few chip kills. He's going to be looking for it again. The big problem for Lucifron is he never took this outpost, so he's never seen these rotations coming in. Like, that's the design of this map. You need to play for those outposts, or you will be exposed on the Stealth Forest. And Louis has been doing the elegant job of executing that. Horsemen now, they're riding again. Will react in time to pull away. Villagers on the south side. Looks like, what, 1, maybe 2 worker kills amongst the camels. And Louis, what the hell is that? Why do we... Where and why? What? Louis? Was that intentional? Or is that a misclick? Because looking at his resources, I think that might have been a misclick. Why do, wait, why do we have a siege tower? Huh? Is this going to be one of those me versus the person she tells me not to worry about when he builds a Tower of the Sultan? Or I'm so confused by its role here. You could use it to capture outposts, I guess. Don't know if I'd say it's efficient. Backstab attempt here. Looks like Lucifron back on the defensive. Tricky thing for Louis is this horseman is kind of a one and done. He doesn't have the economy to afford a rematch. Arbitrary, ambitious positioning there. Guildhall is stockpiling, by the way. We're up to 1,400 food now. Rams are going to be moving in for the forward outpost. Yeah, Louis just trying to buy time. His farms are coming in, but it's infancy stage. Only 6 so far. 1 ram is going to be taking out. But a ram kill for a lancer kill is kind of even. And you know what? That is a positive blessing. What is up, sort of? Thank you very much for the raid, mate. Appreciate ya. Welcome, one and all. I believe I saw a sort of signing up for the KPMM, so excited for that. Hope you had a good stream. And welcome all to Hymns Cup, our new weekly show matches on Fridays. Okay, so it's going to be a burn in Lucifron. Does block the Ford Gold. We are seeing a lack of clear access for Louis MT there. He has got the passive gold, and considering his leaning archer horseman, he doesn't need that much, realistically. But I'm a bit skeptical. I think Lucifron, he has his own food issues now. Yeah, you can see it. He's dry. He's having to go farms as well. Mango's are going to be able to scare him away. I think Lucifron this game just needs to drag deeper for him. This isn't his time. He has found 2 additional worker kills amongst that poke and raiding. So the eco gap is smaller. And on top of that, the Guildhall is now at 2,000 food. So we are close to the big Gatling gun tower. I wonder if you just like delay the tech timing and wait even longer. Just to simply have surplus food for units. Horseman around her again. I think Lucifron's just struggling with this outpost detail. LuMT seems to be thriving with these points of interest. And we do have the food. Yeah, Lucifron's going to be answering his own horseman, so it's not going to be an immediate tech play. Horseman rotation. Well, wouldn't have found anything because the gold is gone, but this is where the farms are being set up. So out of time achieved there, Lucifron is going to pull away early, courtesy of the vision. But behind this, Louis, he's just so good at this. Second TC in reaction, man. Like, he always seems to just finesse this. We already saw it earlier in the Malian game. He builds a lead and then takes advantage of it to build a bigger lead. You know, Louis, he's incredible at raiding, and I think there was a time where we called him the Chinese Boosty Cutie. I think a more appropriate name would be the Chinese Marine Lord. It's very reminiscent of M-Lord, the way he focuses on raid and then looks to scale an economical advantage. Now, obviously, he has his own unique twist and style within that, but you definitely see the parallels between the two. Lucifron does now have the Gamsons coming in, so we're starting to lean more into the arbitrary factor. Horseman mass is building, though. This is expensive on the food, but worth it for the overwhelm. Think about what Louis' army is and what it is not. He has a single dervish to provide a debuff. Whoopty freaking doodah. It's 44 archers. 2/3 of his army, actually more than that, gets countered by horsemen. This is the One Punch Man moment. It's going to be a dive in. Villagers not reacting, and now the body block should prevent them from getting into safety. So Louis sacks the Ford villagers. Dervish could easily get sniped as well. will be allowed to go free. There's a... Wait, what? Louis, he walked archers over here. He's building a ram right next to the wall. I don't know why he's building it literally right next to the wall. He actually... Oh my god, that's sick. He tried to use the hidden area to build it just outside the abandoned outpost. But unfortunately for him, an archer did snitch on them. In fairness, though, credit to him. Do you guys realize what Louis just done? He forced an entire army reaction. Luceron's bringing everything home. So he has nothing to forward into Louis' base while Louis is still being greedy. Meanwhile, Luciferon, heavily idled here, has to hide in the corner of the villages just to be safe. Great surround and grab on the 12 archers. So it will be a good military trade, but Louis, I think he sees this as worth. Lose 12 archers, get info by time. The horseman was an issue, and now he just bought himself an extra, what, 30, 40 seconds to solve it? And the spearmen are already queued up. Yeah, and the 40 seconds in particular is important for Ibids. That's almost what you need to get veterancy. Now, he does need to slow down, mind you. Getting baited like this is not ideal. Although he has better eco, remember, he's been in the middle of a farm transition, and by going 2TC, there is a sacrifice. You have to pay more to get more. Compare and contrast BC and more gameplay. BC's playstyle used to be very, very defensive, whereas I'd say Marine Lord was more about raiding into more defensive after Edge being built. Nowadays, they're drastically different. Marine Lord is still more that calculated percentile play, whereas BC is relentlessly aggressive in ending the game. Luciferon is trying to be the aggressive party here. We do have a dive onto the farms. This can force idle time. Mangonels are problematic, though. He needs access to the horsemen. There are not that many spearmen yet, so he's just going to A-click into it, but the Mangos bait him. Dives in deeper. That's now Archie's trying to body the fight, though. And that's not ideal. Jean with a snipe. Second Mango goes down. This looks like breaking point. Can he crack him? Only a single Mango left. Pavis drop comes in. The horseman not quite able to access, but another snipe's going to be there. Jean saving the day. All sieges down. And it looks like he may have broke him. Yeah, the men-at-arms layered in is the problem here. Those champions just take so long to kill for these archers. Not many troopers left for Louis MT. It's kind of a scrambled fight, as sometimes you've just got the spin being hit by the crossbows, and then the archers hitting into the men-at-arms, slowing things down. Luciferon is going to dive looking for more kills. He needs them as well, because it's still a 12 eco lead. And the military, although still in the favor of Luciferon, the advantage does not feel big enough. Yeah, that is crazy. Despite the great efforts of Jean in that fight, not able to do it straight away, but what they are going to be able to do is this. Level 4 is just 100 XP away. Reminder, this ranged army suck at killing ranged Jean. She's not heavily armored, and she's cavalry. So you need spears to answer her. So there might be an opportunity to actually fish that level 4. Horsemen are going to ride in. Jean needs to just basically farm anything she can here. In fact, at this stage, it might just be worth dying, so you save 500 gold. More horsemen arriving. Oh, if he comes back in range, that's going to be the XP. Okay, do you take the level up here? Because your health isn't looking great. But it's got to be tempting. The cannon's not going to be useful straight away. If you had a knight or something here, something we could have ended up seeing is actually a promotion. But the units you're producing aren't exactly great for promoting. So Jean will go down. Luciferon, it will be an immediate buyback. He could have technically waited because he already has the XP practically. But this is all about tempo. He understands now the problem is he's going to get outscaled. He saw how massive the farms are. Like, he didn't even see the full picture. It's ridiculous. It's 63 farms. Whereas he right now is at 33. So playing a scale game doesn't feel great here for Lucy. Instead, it's going to be full blast. Reminder that the champions are upgraded based on Jean. So yes, we do have elite champions in the third age. And Jean de Blas is going to start sieging from afar. Remember, she gets plus 200 against buildings and has 7 tar range. Cannon to knock at the door. Lou trying to buy time with the walls. This is not over yet. It's a Rohirrim Rider moment. Cannon does need to catch up. V-Strop is going to be there. The champions, very tanky. Trying to bait a little bit of aggro. And he does bait those spearmen and horsemen in range, so we'll go for the re-engagement after all aggro is on the champions. There's an attempt to try and get on the cannon, but this could be costly. 2 horsemen do make it in, but they're going to be chased down and killed off. So cannon survives. Louis MT might not. This is so different than the last dive. Jean making a huge difference here with the Val's Inspiration and attack speed, basically giving you crossbow strokes in the 3rd age. A pseudo-rule institute. Not to mention the DPS of her herself, 30 base damage. And those snipes, capable of one-hitting any unit they encounter at this stage. Lucifron does get a bit of burnout here. We'll have to temporarily back away. But Jean is just such an annoying aggro target here. Second wave of horsemen now to arrive. It feels like he's trying to bait Louis out to keep him down. And the horsemen are going to be sprung. They jump in. Jean is just carving this army up like it's a turkey at Christmas. Which is weird because it's range Jean. Debuff did just get removed. And Spearmen have got that upgrade coming with the Mamluk Bravery. And Louis suddenly with a military lead here. I think for Lucifron, this is all about cannon fodder while building Arbitrary Mass. And that's why he's now switching over to spears, because he's kind of baiting himself these horsemen. Very expensive, and they haven't been feeling that great into the spears on the other side. So Jean needs to be respectful. She can easily get killed here, and that would be 1,000 gold down the drain. So calms down for a moment. He does have the Valorous Inspiration again. And guys, this is why Arbitrary feels great at this stage. The Arbitrary are going to be the biggest benefactor of that attack speed buffer. A, because they have a high attack speed already, so percentage decrease is big. But B, they're your range composition and the backbone that you look to scale. Yeah, we've talked about this on the channel before. Like, attack speed on melee is not as good as it sounds, often. Because fights very rarely are that linear. So although you have a buffed attack speed on, let's say, you know, like Dali horses, if the knights are moving around, pathing, etc., then the attack speed doesn't really matter. And that's often why we see Ghazi do so well compared to horsemen. Cheeky walls from... This is such a Louis thing. He's trying to split the fight between the two sides of the wall. What do you mean, why not go for the cannon summon? She does have it. That's an upgrade for 2 arms men. And here's the attack speed. Gatling gun mode activated. Pavis drop is there. The horsemen are going to ride around the back. They're looking towards Jean. Horsemen are paying... Okay, that's kind of sick. He pulls all the spearmen. Now, this is arbitrary into horsemen, which should be a terrible fight. But that attack speed increase, with the Pavis drop to protect against the archers, gives him a second wind here. Spearmen are now back in the main engagement. Divine Restoration has to be popped. Archer spears are on the way to assist Lucifron. This is getting so scrappy. And spears should be counted out by those archers, but they're just buying time. They're protecting the arbitrary, so an expensive loss of arbors at first there for Lucifron. But numbers still firm at 23, and that guild hall is slowly stockpiling up again. It's 900 food. How the hell is this game not over? When you think about the way this began, when you think about how grim the difference looked, like it looked like the Jean attack just missed. And I'll be totally transparent, I was worried we were just going to see a GG, because if we're being totally real, I think Lucifron won't mind me saying, he's a very big believer in, like, when it's over, it's over. You know, Lucifron is not often the player to play for the 1 or 2% chances. Now, I don't know if I'd say it was that low, but it was looking very grim. But the fact he's threaded the needle to get through to the deep late game like this is surprising, and now he's in to bring a bigger surprise. Food stockpiling, Imperial just around the corner. Louis is going to square up, the Beast Drop is going to be there, and the Horseman count is not that great. No, this is a terrible fight. Valorous Inspiration is available again, and there we go. She yells, and everything all of a sudden gets faster. Yeah, you know how you just like, yeah, yeah, with your horses? It's like that, but for humans. It just works. And the timing on those horsemen as well. Follow-up wave pushes him back. Louis MT now 20 military behind. And the Red Palace drop coming through. Lucifron to the 4th age. Louis MT is starting to stockpile a bit. Options aren't that great, though, no? I don't think you really want Desert Raiders into Mass Arbitrary. Maybe Atabegs could be the play here. Also, on top of that, Lucifron now securing a 4k gold vein. The north side vein's not too far away. They are, what, only 4k and 1600, so not crazy. He's already playing for the south side, so Lucifron has the gold access necessary to get all the upgrades. In fact, he's going for double Sacred Sight lock-in. The timer's already down to 5 minutes, and it's a double keep drop. Wow. Louis reacts with Master Smiths. Was that a misclick? Yeah, he cancels it out. So we are going to be seeing the El Clasico. Reinforcement wing. That, I don't know if that really helps you with the timing here on the Sacred Sites. I mean, it is more military blob to go in. And he's switching full Desert Raiders. Really? Wait, why would you do Desert Raiders into Arbitraire? Is it about the horseman counter? Like raiding, maybe? Because, guys, the thing about Desert Raiders into Arbitraire is that it kind of sucks. Arbitraire have 8 melee armor. So you can't melee them to death. And they have the Beast drop for ranged. So Arbor should win that fight, no? Only advantage you have, really, is mobility. Right now, this from the big advantage he has is timing. Looks to pressure in. Primary TC is getting sieged. Faust Inspiration gets activated, so Gatling Gun mode is underway. And now the Horsemen dive in again from the flanks. Desert Raiders get intercepted at their infant stage of production. And the army's going to be wiped. It's happening. Lucifron, a shaky start to this series, but he finally slam dunks a win. Does it in the most Lucifron-y of ways. Man, we talked about French being his signature civ. He's reminding people that Jean is just as lethal when put in his arsenal.